Hey there, welcome back to my recaps for VH1's Scream, no longer MTV. That's going to take a while to get used to. My name is John, and just as a refresher, we are going to go ahead and describe the difference between the original television series and the rebooted series. Now that we got that over, let's jump into the episode. We open up on a very creepy Halloween-y scene. There is moonlight. We see the ghost face mask face in the moon, and then we go to the house of Paris Jackson. I don't know what her character's name is, but she's playing the quintessential Drew Barrymore scene, although she's cutting vegetables instead of popping corn. Go vegan. She gets a knock at the doorbell rings, and then she gets fake stabbed by somebody wearing the ghost face mask, but they pull out the knife. It's retractable. It's like the second season of Scream when that one guy who was a prankster fake stabbed Haley and killed her, and it was just a fake weapon all along. What made me very happy about this scene is that the actual Scream theme from the first two seasons was playing, and I'm like, nice touch. Okay, we can have a new cast, but at least there's some flavor of the original series. There's a child wearing this mask that evening, and just a disclaimer, you're gonna see this mask on so many people. I'm talking like more than the second Scream movie when they're watching Stab. There's a kid wearing the ghost face mask, and then he runs out looking for his friend, and he ends up running into a kid in a clown mask named Tommy Jenkins, I believe they called him. Tommy Jenkins is a little bitch and steals his candy and then runs away. And something that I noted with the production quality of this series, watching it, just this episode and that scene, is that the cinematography is on point. And Gaffer, I see you. You did that thing. The Ghostface kid is unsuccessful trying to get his candy back, and he finds his friend who is a football player costume, and the football kid decides that he's going to share his candy with the Ghostface kid. The football kid has a great quote. Tommy Jenkins is a little I can't keep up with me on the field. That just reminded me of bam, went down, bam, Sid, super bitch. Then there's a man that looks like the Candyman with a hook for a hand. So we're taking Candyman, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then they stabbed it right into the mask of the Ghostface kid. Kid is dead. The candy spills all over the ground. The football kid is scarred for life. He turns around and runs. And then we cut to the title card. We are told that 8 years have gone by. We meet Deion Elliott, who is a football star. He decides that he's going to race his friend Amir that's on the bus. He's going to race him on foot all the way to school, and Deion actually beats the bus to school. So that guy is going places, and he's going there fast. There is a metal detector in this school, which is very interesting. I don't know if that's supposed to say something about the location, if the students are prone to being violent, or if there have been crimes in the past that have mandated that. However, we know school is supposedly going to be a safe place, but that's debatable. And then we meet a goth girl whose name is Beth, and it took me until the very end of the episode, or in episode 2, to finally figure out what her name was, because I missed it. There's a teacher calling roll call, and then she gets to Deion's name, and he is not quite in his seat, and she says, this is what happens when people get a free ride, or something like that, and she's just being a little unreasonable. Deion makes it there seconds late, and the reason that he's held up is because when he was walking through the school metal detector, he found a piece of candy in his backpack with a note taped to it that said, trick or treat. Could be harmless, probably not harmless. Sometimes they poison that candy. What is funny in this classroom scene is right after Deion walks in, there's some random extra guy, like background character that says, I like your shirt! We then cut to a character named Kim, played by Keke Palmer, who, she has dyed purple dreadlocks, which are pretty cool, and a megaphone, and she's having some sort of protest against something. I kind of missed what she was talking about. What I think is funny is the goth girl walks up to Amir and asks him if she can sit with him, and he says yes, and then Beth does not sit with him. We then find out that Deion is a total ladies' man, and I just want to note something about either the way that he talks or the tone of his voice reminds me so much of Kenan Thompson. I don't know why, but he just sounds a lot like Kenan Thompson. So we get into Deion goes to his locker, and there's another piece of candy there, and taped on that one is parking garage after school. We then cut to a guy named TJ who is a delivery man of some sort. I don't know if it's like Uber Eats or Postmates or whatever, but he pulls up to the address he's given for a character named Marcus. Marcus is a name we're going to hear a whole bunch of coming down the road. He's like Brandon James level important to this story of this season. TJ pulls up to the place. It looks very sketchy. He starts to walk up, and then he asks this homeless man outside, do you know where Marcus is? And the homeless man, for some reason, he seems out of it. but he also is like, over there. He walks up to the creepy front door of this place, and then he pulls a Noah Foster, turns around, and he's like, nope, all the way back to his car. And we're like, yes, you go, TJ. And then TJ gets in his car, and he gets stabbed. That was where my microphone was. I'm so sorry, anyone with headphones. I like to call this the stabbing bag, because he got stabbed, and then they pull a smiley face, thanks for coming bag over his head. I had to note, listening to this, that the soundtrack for the season is just so good, but I don't know why I would be surprised about that, because I believe this was still produced by MTV, even though it's not airing on MTV. And part of the MTV series, what they really had going for them was these really great songs. They even had a song from Keke Palmer in one of the second season episodes, I believe. We cut to the cafeteria, and Deion is talking to this white football player named Avery. Avery seems to have a thing for this new girl named Liv, who her dad is this police officer. Deion goes to the parking garage. He's wondering who he's going to see there. He hears a car alarm, so he starts to walk towards it, and then at a divide partway through the parking garage, he faces none other than, for the first time, Avery and Liv appear, and we find out that Avery is seemingly the antagonist of the season, and he's definitely trying to stir the pot. And he pops off on Deion, and then Liv's a little shocked. Avery asks why Liv is standing up for Deion, and then she's like, well, first of all, you don't owe me. And then he makes some sort of snide comment like, well, I don't think it would take that much. And that is the fastest way to lose a girl. Avery puts his hands on Liv when she tries to leave, and then Deion goes ahead and tackles him, and I think punches him. He does something to Avery that lands him and Liv in detention, but Avery gets to walk away for free. We cut to detention, and it kind of looks like the Breakfast Club, and that's the first thing that I thought when I saw it. And then one of the characters makes a comment that they are the Breakfast Club, which I'm like, well, at least to get the John Hughes reference in here. We meet the different characters. So there's Amir. He's a little more sheepish, a little bit nerdy. There's Beth, the goth girl. We see Kim again and her friend Manny. And there is I'm guessing the principal, or at least the person supervising detention, shows up. He makes some sort of comment about Kim's friend Manny, saying, and you should listen to your gay BFF. And then she's like, first of all, the gay is silent unless he wants you to say it. And I was like, Deion gets a text message saying for him to go to the locker room. And then he actually leaves to go to the locker room, and it is very foggy, misty, very much the end of I Know What You Did Last Summer Part 1. I don't know why everyone thinks that's a good idea. He hears a phone ringing in one of the lockers, so he goes, opens the locker, and it says bang. And then he gets tased. He gets tased by Ghostface. And then he gets stabbed, but it's a fake knife again. I'm not sure what's with all the fake outs. And then he gets tased a second time, and then he wakes up in the hallway, surrounded by the Breakfast Club. So the Breakfast Club gets a surprise visitor by somebody that we would categorize as the criminal. His name is Shane. He, I believe, is graduated at this point, and he is kind of inviting everybody to go to a party, but he also pulls out a little bag of paraphernalia that we're led to believe he does with Beth. He and Beth have some sort of complicated, flirtatious, and snarky relationship. Also, from henceforth, I will refer to Shane as Teen Wolf. We cut to football rehearsal. Dianna is sitting in the stands, maybe because he got detention and can't participate. And Mary J. Blige plays his mom, and she comes to the field, sits in the bleachers with him, and she has a conversation with her son, and it's sort of checking in on him to make sure he's going to be okay, because Halloween is a scarring time for him, and Halloween is approaching. We also see a kind of sweet dynamic with her where she isn't super hard on her son, but he's very hard on himself. So she's trying to tell him, you know, you are excelling in your sports and you can relax, you can breathe. But he keeps saying that he wants to kill it in this game and, you know, get a full ride to college so that way he can start earning money and help give her a better life. And she says, well, when I finish going back to school and get my next degree, I'm going to buy myself a house. So it's very uplifting, and they both have the American dream. We cut to Liv's house, Olivia, Liv for short, and we find out that her father is a cop. And her father says this one quoted line, I'm a cop, Olivia. I don't trust anyone. And that is absolutely foreshadowing. Olivia goes to take a shower. She starts to disrobe, and then there's a little tap, tap, tap at the window. And, well, you know who. She backs up against the wall and screams. I think this is a fake out. I think that was just some random party goer that happened to decide it would be fun to prank somebody by scaring them by their window. Liv decides to go visit Deion for one reason or another. When she gets to his house, the door is answered by Tyga, who's a rapper, now actor, and his character's name is Jay. We're introduced to him as Deion's half-brother in some dialogue that seems very sort of, we're just going to force all this exposition on you. I want to make a comment about the show right now, too, at least from what I gather this far into the episode, is that I feel like the actors are doing a good job and they're doing the best with the material that they have. I feel like the writing isn't the best. It's not bad, but it's also a little... They could have done a better job. The best I would equate that to would be Vera Farmiga when she was on Bates Motel. She delivered her dialogue great, however her dialogue was just very badly written. Jay talks about how much Deion is more interested in football than he is in girls or his friends, and then he starts flirting with Liv. Liv then asks how old Deion was in this child photo in their house, and Jay, I want to call him Tyga, and then Jay says, "That's not Deion," and then we cut back to Deion, and he gets a phone call from someone named Marcus. And Deion does not even entertain the idea that this could be somebody that's actually Marcus. He immediately picks up the phone and is like, "Who is this? Because this isn't Marcus." The killer says, "I'm wearing armor. That's the only way to survive high school, isn't it?" The killer then mentions Liv, Amir, Kim, and some of his other friends by name, in which case now we know, okay, we are now fully in the Emma Duvall situation where all of her friends are in danger. Deion sees somebody with this mask on, and he chases him down the hall and tackles him, takes it off, and it is his friend Amir. And they spend so much time setting up Amir to look suspicious and to have an alibi and to be a guilty person. I really think it's just a red herring. It would be a fun surprise if the nerd was the killer, but we already saw that in Scream 4. We then cut to all these people going to a rave after school. It's the party that Teen Wolf invited them all to. It's a silent disco, so you wear your headphones and then only you hear it over the... You hear the DJ over your headset, but it's not really playing out loud. The reason why Amir was wearing the mask is because he was going to that party where everyone is wearing this mask. It is just a recipe for disaster and is insensitive. I think I broke it. Amir goes up to Teen Wolf in line, and he makes some comment about, I thought I was going to talk to DJ Fade about mixing or something. And then Teen Wolf says, nobody really knows who DJ Fade is, that it's just like a club name or something. That it's his Hannah Montana identity. Deion wants all of his friends to be safe, so he tells Amir, go home or I'm going to tell your parents where you are, and Amir doesn't even put up a fight. He's just like, okay, I guess I'll go. We then cut to a scene where Beth and Teen Wolf are making out. Okay. I guess this was Once Upon a Time on MTV, where it has to be very kind of like sexual, but not like Netflix sexual. That should be a t-shirt. Netflix sexual. When you just go to somebody's house and then feel the need to take all of your clothes off for no reason. That is called a hookup, my friends. We find out from Manny that he wants to leave and go to a tech school, and then we see... There's a point where Avery comes up to Liv, and he tries doing or saying something to her that she doesn't like, and she tells him, drop dead, Avery. We know what that means. Deion gets another phone call from Marcus, and the killer has to be nearby because Deion physically gets slashed and cut with a knife along here. So I don't know how this person is talented enough to be on the phone, look through these tiny little eye holes, and slash him and get away without getting caught. Deion then commandeers the speakers and makes an announcement, Breakfast Club, if that means anything to you, go meet me out at the bus. And then we cut immediately to the bus where all of his friends are in there, and he shares this information. Hey, I have to let you guys know, on Halloween years ago, my brother Marcus got killed by this guy with the hook, and I ran away. That's the thing that he's ashamed about, is that he ran away. Then all of the Breakfast Club get texts on their phone that says, show me your insides, and then a photo of Avery impaled, or you're next. And this immediately made me think, if that was like James Charles, Jeffree Star, Tana Mongeau, all of them in a room, and then they all get that text message, drama channels would be drooling. So, expose yourself. Basically, Ghostface wants them to make an exposed video about themselves. Beth seems to be taking the role of Noah in this series, where she equates everything to a horror movie. I think this is a little bit contrived. Like, I don't think realistically she would be like, if this were a horror movie, blah, 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 blah. It made a little more sense for Noah, but for Beth, I'm not so sure, but that is the role she's playing here. And she says that Liv is final girl potential, and the rest of them are easily first blood, like the outcast, the gay character, the minority, etc. And she makes the comment, black is basically insta-kill, which, like, I mean, it's not necessarily the case anymore, but I see where she's going with it. They make the comment, Avery pretended to be a nice guy. He didn't show his inside, so he got killed, because he was a racist, and he was just hiding that fact about himself, but he behaved that way. And then Beth has the line, Breakfast Club, if we don't figure this out, we're going to be more like the Deadfast Club. Is the episode over yet? And now for the killer predictions. I think that the killer is Olivia. The reason I think so is because of the foreshadowing. I think we have a red herring here. Part of why I thought that the killers from the first season were Audrey and Jake were that neither of them were attacked by the killer on camera up until the finale. I think it was a fake out having somebody scare Olivia with the ghost face mask while she's in the bathroom. I think it was someone just on their way to the rave and they wanted to prank her. I think the line about her father saying that he doesn't trust anybody is a little hint. I think that because she sort of instigated the disagreement between Avery and Deion, that she is just a catalyst trying to make all this happen. Only thing I have that I can't really explain is the Ghostface killer was in the garage, Deion sees him, and then here's Avery from behind him, and Liv was with him. I can't remember if Liv was with Avery the second he came in, or if she sort of followed a little bit after him. And because Ghostface never actually attacked him there, that could have just been another red herring because Amir was wearing a Ghostface mask. I think there's a strong chance it's Olivia. If it's not a lone killer, she's at least one of two killers. All right, that is all for this episode. I have a sore throat, so I'm going to stop talking. Until next time, stay alive. Please insert the meme of Drake there going like... And what I think is funny is Beth, the goth girl, goes up to Amir and asks us if she... And then he pulls a Noah... What's Noah's last name? Noah Foster. We go to the parking garage. Avery is... Gosh, wrong character. Now, John in editing, you're going to move this scene before that past scene that you just mentioned. Amir leaves when Deion threatens to tell his parents, but he's... Okay.